Okay, so let's talk about the this variable, okay, or the this JavaScript. So we have the code we left from last time. I have my dev tool still open. And if I just go to the console and I type this, it gives me the window, okay? So, I mean, the window is like outside, we have the DOM, but then what is the DOM in? It's in the window, okay? So the the this represents the most global that you can get. Okay, I mean we've talked about scope before, and that's important to understand. So in this case, if you type this, just any, like, even in my code, if I did instead of console log, right, in the global space, and I type this, it's the same thing. It does not matter in that case, because when I do call look at the this, it's to its scope. So inside of an object, I can also use the this variable. Okay. And so as an example, in the my greeting, if I said console.log this, hmm, check out what we see. Okay. Because when I call it here and I call this function and I say this, it actually gives me the object itself. So this is going to understand where it's at, where it is being used in the code, and give you its outermost scope. Okay. Now why would you want to use the this variable? There's a lot of reasons. Okay. But I do notice that more and more modern JavaScript, because it is confusing to even talk about this, I mean, you're saying this way too much, first of all. But just to use it, let's look at how you would use it, right? So in this case, see, look, even there, it's hard. So let's say that I wanted to reach in to reference any of these values on my function. Okay. When I said, what's up? And I could say, in this case, I could say, okay, I'm going to inject something. I'm going to say this, well, if I can type it, this dot name says, what's up? Okay. So in that case, when I run the code, let me just get rid of that. Okay. Did I forget something? No, I didn't. Called my greeting. Oh, it doesn't have the latest version. Oh, duh. Anybody see it before I did? What was the issue? Because I returned it, but then I was playing with the this variable here. Oh, I love coding. You know, the more you code, the more you get to troubleshooting and you see your own errors, but sometimes you don't. So in this case, what happens is when it runs the function and it's going to return the value, the string here, the template string, when it says this dot name, it is going to refer to the this would be the object itself. Okay. So that, just understanding that, will make what we do go forward when this comes up again, because it will, a little more easy to understand. Okay. But it's one of those things you also get to relearn. So the this context, the this is mostly used inside of objects. It's typically not used on the global context. It's used inside of objects to reference either keys or values inside of the object, right? I could do the same thing, right? I could say Rio who loves, and I could say coding, right? So I could do that as well. Let's just do one more example. Rio who loves to, in this case, I'm going to say now I'm going to reference that array. So I'm going to do this dot hobbies, right? And in this case, let's do the first entry. Okay. Rio, who loves to code, says What's up, Jane? Because I passed Jane in. All right, here's what I want you to do. Okay, commit this code right here. Okay, so commit this code. I have it on here, this variable, right? And then what I want you to do, and that'll be the last thing you have to do before you submit. And I generally make the last one a little bit shorter. I don't know if you appreciate that or not. And on this case, I want you to then you can do it in this directory, or I haven't shown the branching yet. I could show that. But what I want you to do is first commit it with the this, which is the code we just wrote. And then I want you to go into this code. You can leave this here. See, that's why this is such a problematic thing. And create an object, right? Give it a different name, but give it, your values, or come up with values, have a function in there, do something besides return, right? Do something a little more involved there, right? And then call the function, do some kind of, so do some work around this object, because I've shown you how to reference things within the object. One thing I didn't show you how to do, and that'd be a fun thing, is to actually loop through, right? You could loop through an array inside the object. We've seen how to call functions, right? In this case, the one thing I didn't say was the reason we don't use an arrow function here is that with an arrow function, we no longer get the this reference. So if we don't need the this reference, we can use a traditional arrow function. So you could write a function that has an arrow function that doesn't depend on this. See why it's a problem? Okay. All right. So that's what I want you to do. Commit mine, play around with it, and I'll give you a commit message for that. And that will be all for this week. And we'll start week 9. Thanks a lot. See you later.